program is brought to you in association with First National Bank of Botswana.
FNB, how can we help you?
The Gender at Work report by the World Bank suggests that women's participation in the labor force globally has remained stagnant over the past 2 decades, declining from 57 to 55%. In addition, women are less likely to work in stereotypically demanding jobs, including science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, or STEM for short. A report by the Institute for Women's Policy Research revealed that only 4.6% of women work in STEM professions, compared to 10.3% of men as of 2015. This is true for the piloting profession, for which our guest is qualified in. Statistics suggest that out of the 333,000 active pilots in the entire world, only 8% of them are women. Our guest, Captain Phatsima, is the founder and president of Dare to Dream, a youth-run profit organization that is aimed at inspiring young women especially to fall in love with professions in STEM. The captain details how growing up right behind the Tsakama International Airport, she always wondered what it would be like to fly the machines. Unfortunately for her, that dream came much later in life because her mother wanted her to pursue a safer profession such as teaching or nursing. Before she took up the skies with the birds up high, becoming the well-decorated pilot she is today, she was just a little girl trying to make it in Lidumadumani, a then very small village in the outskirts of Gaborone. She was born 35 years ago as a last but one of 7 children and raised in a very humble home. She got her primary education at Taumanta Primary School, later graduating to the Dumadumani Junior Secondary School and finished her senior high at Gaborone Senior Secondary School. Being the obedient child she was, she took her mother's advice to pursue a safer career, enrolling at the University of Botswana for a Bachelor of Education Science degree in mathematics, upon which she graduated and became a teacher. 8 months later, she realized the classroom was not her calling, and as fate would have it, 2009 saw the Botswana Defence Force enlisting its first female military pilots, and the rest, as they say, is history in Captain Phatsima's story.
I am Captain Phatsima. I'm one of the first female military pilots in Botswana Defence Force. I'm also the president and founder of Dare to Dream Foundation. I grew up in a small village called Lidumadumani, just a stone throw from Tsakama International Airport. When I was growing up, I used to see aeroplanes passing over my mother's thatched roofed house. From an early young age, I knew I was born to fly. I used to walk barefoot to school because I come from very humble beginnings. And when I finished my Form 5 with very high flying colors, I told my mother that I wanted to fly. She said, no, we are too poor. During her time, girls could not even dream about being pilots. I should go to the university and become a teacher. I did, with a heavy heart, went to University of Botswana and studied Bachelor of Education Science in Mathematics and Physics, and ultimately became a teacher. I taught at Good Hope for 8 months, mathematics. After 8 months, the Botswana Defence Force decided to enlist its first female military pilot. I knew that nobody was going to stand on my way. I left teaching and joined the army. My mother cried. But I told her, no, mother, this is my dream. This is what resonates in my heart. This is what I want. So I went into the army. The first year was very, very painful. They made us walk kilometers only cars could travel. I used to walk 120 kilometers in all kinds of weather conditions. I learned tactics. I learned how to shoot a gun. I learned martial arts. I learned all sorts of things, leadership and how to lead men to war. It was a beautiful and exciting experience. I was one of the first female officers to be trained in Botswana. So after that, I went to Thebe Paswa Air Base. We trained for 18 months as one of the first female pilots in the country. After 18 months, I was transferred to Francistown Air Base. As you know, the Okavango Delta and up there in Maung, there are a lot of poachers who are killing our elephants and rhinos. I was deployed there as a pilot and an aviation safety officer, helping the ground forces with air power. We used to do aerial patrols. We used to take food for soldiers. We used to transport soldiers around Botswana. So I had the privilege to be part of young people who were helping the country in curbing poaching. After qualifying as one of the first female military pilots, I looked back and said, when I was growing up, I never had a chance to sit down like this with a pilot. Now, had I had any chance to sit inside an aeroplane until I had the opportunity to fly it, I started Dare to Dream to inspire the next generation, but especially the girls and those who come from underprivileged families and rural backgrounds like myself, that it is possible for you to come from nothing and be something in life. So that's why I started Dare to Dream. And then I have been in the army for 10 years. In those 10 years, I started Dare to Dream and I had the opportunity to be chosen by the 44th President of the United States as one of the young leaders changing the narrative of our communities, our country, and the African continent. I was taken to the United States of America for the International Visitor Leadership Program. We had a tour of the United States of America. I think we went to around 15 to 20 states in the United States on a leadership tour. I also won the Commonwealth Point of Light Award by Her Majesty the Queen, the British High Commissioner. I also was given the Best Female of the Year 2017. Through this, I was still in the army at the same time, traveling the world. So in 2019, I decided that I was leaving the army after serving for 10 years so that I can fully focus on my foundation as well as on my business that I'll tell you about.
But what was finally the turning point for your family, especially your mother, to, allow you or be at ease with you pursuing your dream of flying?
I would say that there was never a turning point because my mother kept on telling me that every time when there was an accident of a plane maybe crashing somewhere, my mother will call and make sure that it wasn't me. She was never settled throughout my journey. And she told me that, Wanaka, go to school and work in the office. Little did she know that the aeroplanes is my office, the cockpit is my office. But I went to school and studied my master's in strategic management with a focus on aviation safety from the University of Derby. Yeah, so in the military, I was also an aviation safety specialist because of my master's and also a pilot. So even if she was not really happy with me, I managed to study like she was saying that I should study more so that I can work in the office.
Just listening to that, we realize that limiting beliefs are normally conditioned into, people's outlook on life. Maybe because of, their background or the generation within which they grew up. But how do you think those can be worked over so that, we have an open society or an open-minded society?
To be a pilot and to be a soldier for a girl child is something that even anywhere across the world, you realize that there are only 8% of female pilots and 3% of them are black, and very few of them come from the military background. So this is something that is not even used to across the world. That's why we do the work that we do, so that we can tell people that it is possible for young girls to go into these beliefs. So sometimes it's even about the way our world is. Not many girls get into the science, the technology, and the piloting and aeronautics fields. It's something that is not really done. Also, most importantly, the culture. My mother said during our time, a girl child could never even dream of flying planes. It is indebted in our culture. So as the world changes, I think as parents, as teachers, we should really help our young people and let them pursue their dreams, even if it's a path that is not really, that we are not even used to, like your piloting, like your military and stuff like that.
In Africa, help is what we do. That is why we at FNB are relentlessly driven to provide real help to you, the passionate and courageous, the creators and the optimists. These are the entrepreneurs we support, the communities we uplift. It is because of you that real help is what we do. FNB, how can we help you?
You know, we keep saying that, your organization is there to help young girls realize or inspire young girls to go into, STEM or STEAM professions. But what do you think can be or is the responsibility of young girls in realizing this for themselves?
I think just like myself, having grown up from humble beginnings, going to school barefoot, that thing on its own motivated me and said, I want a better life for myself. I want a better life for my community. I want a better life for my family and my nation. I'm going to do whatever it takes to make sure that I change the narrative of where I come from and impact more young people with even my success. So I think what we can say to the girl child out there, that be fearless in the pursuit of what sets your soul on fire. It's not going to be easy. There are going to be a lot of doors that are going to be closed on your face because of the stereotypes of our culture. A lot of people are going to tell you that girls are not supposed to do this, but it is incumbent upon you that you fearlessly push and become what you want in life.
Besides the aviation and the aerospace space that Date Dream is inspiring young girls to go into, what else is the organization doing to inspire young women, or maybe not just young women, but young people as well?
Yeah, like I said from the beginning, we are an organization dedicated to advancement of youth, women and girls in STEM as well as aviation and aerospace. We partner with different organizations such as, for example, the FNB Foundation for us to impact the youth in terms of how do they position themselves for opportunities, how do they write CV, cover letters, how do they write business plans. So we reach out to organizations and partner with them so that we can leverage on their skills and impact the youth. We also have a partnership with Airbus Foundation. Airbus is one of the largest aircraft manufacturers in the world. We have partnered with them. We have impacted, I think, around 3,500 young people across Botswana in rural and urban places with robotics and coding workshops. So these are some of the programs that we partner with different organizations to leverage on their networks, to leverage on their skills, to impact young people in Botswana. One of my biggest dreams and greatest aspiration is to start my own airline charter business. I'm currently under the DBS Group Stanford Go-to-Market program, where they're helping us position ourselves as entrepreneurs. I'm also currently undergoing the Managers Without Borders. It's a German-based mentorship program for young people who wants to do businesses. I'm also being helped by Leah to come up with a bankable business plan so that I can achieve my dream.
To the young person who wants to make something of themselves, watching you and seeing and knowing how decorated you are, what would be your sage advice to them?
To the young person who's hoping to make something for themselves, I'll say that the landscape and the terrain has changed. COVID-19 has impacted a lot of us in a very negative way. We should not lose hope. We should keep pushing no matter the challenges and make sure that we go out there and achieve our dreams. And nobody owes you anything as a young person. You really, really need to stand up for yourself and open up opportunities for yourself and open opportunities for others. As you do that, the world and the universe will bring good things for you.